Hey everyone, it is Natalie from Being Intentionally Creative. And it's really funny sometimes how I start videos and, I've got such a mess in front of me. And today's absolutely no exception to the rule. And you're maybe thinking, oh my God, what's she going to do now? Well, I may have mentioned that I wanted to get into working with clay. I have some air dry clay. I have some oven baked clay. And it's just sort of another progression for me, another way of expanding what I do. And what I wanted to do is take you through some of what I have on my desktop, show you a couple of things, do a bit of a show and tell, and then we'll clear all this up and then I'll show you a couple of things. And I am going to be learning along the way. I have watched some videos, not a lot, and there's definitely... I am no expert in this. I'm going to tell you that straight out of the gate. I have done next to nothing with clay. It interests me, so I kind of want to use it in some of my videos. And who knows who's out there. Now, if you happen to work with clay and you have any tips, tricks, comments, please leave them below. I'll still be doing my resin, obviously, and I'll be doing some other stuff, but I just wanted to throw the clay into it. So again, if you work with clay and you have any tips or tricks, I would love to hear about them. Again, just starting out on this, and this will help other people as well. I am very much a person who, if I can give tips and tricks, I love doing that. And if anyone can give them to me, again, it means a lot to me because you may know something that I don't. And that's always helpful for anyone who's learning to do anything, that we be given, insight into try this or I've done this or what have you. So please feel free, and I'll share again what I've got. Before I go any further though, I do want to send, in Western Canada, there are a lot of forest fires going on right now. There is devastation. I know in Manitoba, I don't know any further west. I think Alberta's being hit really hard. And I hope everyone that's a subscriber of my channel who lives in Canada, especially in the Western provinces, that you are safe and that you're doing okay. And if you have had to evacuate, that you're managing to get out safely. I've seen a few pictures, not a lot, but I am hearing about the devastation out there. I am feeling very badly for the people. I have to admit, my heart is with the animals out there because there are animals being left behind, and I appreciate, the potential of why they're being left behind, but they are now asking for people in Ontario to potentially help with the animals that have been left behind. They're getting them out, I think, as best they can. Are they going to get all the animals out? I don't know. And I'm specifically talking about the cats and dogs. Anyway, my hearts go out to you all, and I hope everyone's okay, that you're getting out safely. And always know, and it's easy for me to say because I'm here in Canada, I'm here in Ontario, I'm not impacted aside from the air quality that's here, but trust that you can rebuild, that you will get your lives back if you are impacted by these fires. My heart, again, goes out to you, but I have to trust that you will be okay and that you will rebuild if you need to. So, just know I'm thinking of you. Please know I think that there are a lot of people here in Ontario that, we care. And the firefighters, they're out there doing their job. And I know some people are coming up from the States to help. We've got people from other parts of Canada coming out to help you out. So my hats are off to them as well, because I see what the air is like here. I can't even imagine what it must be like for those out in the Western provinces. So again, my heart goes out to you, and you are in my thoughts all the time. Okay, let's get back to this and sort of explain what I've done. So I have gotten some stuff from Amazon. I have gotten some stuff from Temu. Again, I don't know really what I'm up to. Before I even go to that, I just wanted to show you some of the other flowers, specifically the flat one that I had done. So these are some of the other ones I did prior to that last video in different colors. Again, I was playing to see what I could come up with for different colors. And I like these because I think these have a lot of potential for different things you could use them for. I keep visualizing using pieces like this in other resin pieces. So I think of the turtle, I think of the frog I've got. Even if you had a coaster that had a bit of depth to it, being able to use these. And I actually have some square and some round coasters that are, I'd have to say, a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch deep. So I just envision putting these like upside down in that and making a coaster encompassing these. And then the other one that I've done recently is this rose one. And this was not one I got to do in my last video. Well, you saw how far out in left field I went with the things I did. And I just wanted to show this one to you. Again, I think there's a lot you can do with these. I think you can, this isn't, very exciting from a color perspective, but you definitely can add to it and make it even more interesting just by playing with different colors, with using different mediums on it. So have fun with it. Don't disregard something you've made. Just let your imagination work with you in making it more exciting. All right. I have a bunch of different molds over here at the side that I want to potentially use with the clay. So I just want to show you these. So we're going to play with these. Again, it's going to be probably hit and miss for me. But the only way we're going to figure this out is to play, and that's what I like to do. I don't do all of my playing on video, but sometimes at least it gives you an idea. It helps me out, and that's what counts. Okay, I'm going to put what I already have and just get some stuff off to the side so I can show you some different stuff. So, where to begin? All right, I got a kit off of Amazon, and it included, well, this guide. All right, and it has actually, it shows you on the front of this. So we got these, I'll show them to you anyways, but I got these cutters, and I got these tools. I didn't get the pliers, which is probably a good thing because I have more than enough for those. I got some B7000. I want to talk about that because it's interesting that, I'm trying to think, that I haven't seen people use B7000 as a way of holding pieces together. I should have thought about this. It's not in my head right now. I'm trying to think. There's product that people have been using. I want to say, and I have some of the, I want to say the sculpty stuff. I know, good terminology, that people are using to hold pieces, like pieces of clay together. Not this. So it'll be interesting to try this. And I would have thought that would hold clay together, but it doesn't sound like that's necessarily the case. I have to do some more research on that. If anyone, again, is watching, has worked with polymer clay and or clay in general, if you've used this, please let me know if it actually does work. I can use it for other things, which is totally cool. I figured because they sent it to me that it should work. But again, I don't know for sure. I guess we should test that out and see how it works. We got these little hole cutters. I got some polymer clay. I think that's everything I got with that kit. So here are these little hole cutters. And it was interesting because I'd seen one package that you could get 40 of these. And I'm thinking, why would you need 40? It seemed a little excessive to me, but perhaps there's someone else out there again who, there's a reason why you would need 40 of the various sizes. Now, as far as I know, however, and having said that, that you would just use the metal end of this. Okay, but I did see someone in a video actually use the plastic side, which I thought was kind of interesting. So how many we've got? I think there are 8 of them here in various sizes to do the holes, I guess in whatever pieces you're doing. So yes, there are 8 pieces here. All right, all different sizes, some really small ones, and then, you know, these 4 bigger ones that we can use to put the holes in. Now, I guess there's no reason why you couldn't use the plastic side. I just would have figured the metal side is what you'd want to use. And I do want to find a cup for these guys. But yes, I got those in the kit. And as I say, I got, and we'll open this one up. I'm probably going to open up and throw these into something else. And it took me, I put them away someplace safe. Have you ever done that? Put something away someplace safe, and then, because, well, if you're doing a video like I am, I'm sort of racing around going, what did I do with that stuff? I know it came in a box. Yeah. Anyway, so here we have these. I'm thinking maybe leaves for these pieces here with the, yeah, that's more of a, well, yeah, I'd say a leaf. And I've seen some people doing some really intricate work. So they would do this out and then put sort of vines, or not vines, but lines in it. So you can then put it down on top of another piece. It's quite fast. Oh, you go down a rabbit hole with some of these videos. Again, people who've been working with it for a very long time. I love seeing what people are creating, and it allows me to know I can do this too and come up with my own creations. We'll take these. Again, I don't have really anywhere to put, as you can tell. We're quite busy on the table here. And then over here with these, well, you can see them. They're quite, let's get them out. I just don't like the shine that's happening on these. We'll take some out. I have triangles. Oops. I'm not doing that very well, am I? I'm trying to get it up closer. Oh, too funny. So we have the triangles. I have circles. I have a heart. Well, these aren't triangles, are they? There's probably a geometric term for this. Yeah, I don't know what it is. So if you happen to know, don't laugh at me too hard because I don't know. We have some triangles. I have stars. I have sort of like an oval shape, and I have some oddball pieces. So it's going to be kind of fun to see what we can do. I'll start putting stuff off to the side because like I said, it's just quite the cluster over here. We have all these different polymer clay colors. These are oven bake, and the instruction booklet tells me about baking. I have a small toaster oven, which we don't use very often. I've decided to give that a go to cook these in, and I've seen other people do that versus I really don't want to use my oven that I cook in for this. I'm not expecting it would give off anything toxic, but I don't know that. And it just, for me, it feels better not to use my oven for stuff like this. Anyways, these colors need to go in the oven to cook them. And when I first thought about getting into the polymer clay or the clay in general, I wanted air dry because I thought then I don't have to think about baking anything. However, I decided, okay, I've got the small oven. We can give that a go. I've got a thermostat to make sure that the temperature's within what it should be for baking these things, because people have commented on if it's not the right temperature one way or the other, too hot, too cold, that things won't, bake properly. It'll have an impact on your polymer clay. So I want to get my temperature as good as I can, and I do know that different ovens, the temperature may say 275, but it's really, 300 or it's 250, and for most things, I don't care because I just watch and then I take stuff out. But for this, I want to be more careful with what I'm doing. But a nice arrangement of colors in this. And then we have the tools that came. So we have these, and again, I'm sure they all do really interesting things. Do I know what right now? Absolutely not. Am I going to learn? Yes, I am. And I'll play to learn some of these. But I thought, well, again, it was a sort of a basic and, kit, so why not? These are plastic. And I think like every part of this will do something. I'm not sure what, but I guess we're going to find out. But we have those, okay? And I got this roller as well with it. I think this is the one that's 8 inches. That may only be 6, give or take. Anyways, that came with the kit, the B7000, and that was all that came with that. So I'll get this stuff all out of the way. I'm going to have to find a nice box to put all of this stuff in. All right, now I did get a couple of other things. Well, actually, the only other thing I got, the rest of this is Temu. So these sheets here act like to me, they're like a tattoo. Now, I have seen you can also get a different, almost like a tissue paper that you can use to put on your clay that gives it a design. If you don't want just a solid color and you want a design on it, there is special paper that you can put on, roll it out, and then wash off a glue that seems to be on the top of it, and then you cut your pieces out. But these are different. These are like tattoos in how they operate. There is a film on top of this. You will, once you take that off, you put this down like this, and then you wet the back of this. And I've done a couple of pieces. I'm still playing. I will show you how these work. This is what I have done. I've just done a couple of pieces with different things on the side, each side. I did this one recently with 2 different, designs on them. The one thing that I've noticed, and again, I'm going to have to get better at this, is because you want to be really careful. Like I've got a fold coming back onto this piece here at the top. I found that if I didn't cut the piece close to the shape I was doing, that I was getting it along the sides, like it was sort of wrapping itself around the side. This stuff is sticky, and it sticks like a tattoo, and I actually think it's a little more sticky than tattoos actually are. With this one, I ended up having to sand it down because of it getting around the sides, which I thought, well, I should be able to cut it closer to the shape and then do it, so I don't have that risk. With this one, I'd done that, but this ended up, coming back because there was too much, like it was bigger than the piece, but yet I didn't line it up properly, so I'm going to have to practice that. And so I kind of missed the bottom corner there, like it didn't line up properly on my piece. So that's something I have to learn how to do a little bit better in sort of lining things up and getting them onto the piece. I'm trying to think, is there anything else? So once this was done, I did use my heat gun to, sort of solidify it a little bit more to the piece. I think we can just let them air dry, but I decided I would heat it up a little bit so the glue really did stick. And this is like one of my ceramic resin pieces that I've done this on. This is not clay, but these are meant for clay. The other thing I had done was initially I was working with the edges still being on the piece, but I thought, well, why not just cut that white part off? Then I have a better time knowing, like I can stick this wherever I want, and I know I'm not going to get any of the white on it. So I'm doing that just for ease for myself. And I had gone and traced around this with a pencil, cut it out, and then laid it on I have to get better at the placement. I have to get better at the placement. So here are some of the designs in this package. This I did get off of Amazon. Okay, so that's the full of this top one. Now, I understand why they would do them this size versus me cutting them down, because technically I think most of the time you would roll out, you know, a piece of clay that would be this size, and then you use your cutters to cut out and then bake or air dry or what have you. And so the other interesting thing is going to be, and I have to do some more research, is whether or not I can use these on air dry. I don't imagine why I couldn't, but I'm not 100% sure. For the polymer clay, the ones that go in the oven, they're putting these on and then baking it onto the piece. Well, with air dry, I'm not going to be doing that. So I almost wonder, would I be better off waiting or put it on the air dry clay, carry on and just see how it dries up at the end of the day. And I guess that's something I'm going to have to play with. Here's another one. I like really unique things. And then this. Right, so that might be the one that's on the top, is it? No, that matches that. Okay. All right, so that's that. Now I was thinking I might have to make two videos, one where we're just seeing what I've got, and the second half of this being actually doing something. All right, so these I got off of Amazon. Now I'll show you what I got at Temu. I got another set of the same idea as what I just showed you. I have all the Temu stuff. I didn't leave it in the bag it came in. I just left it in the bag that, or the container. So this is the same. This will work the same way as the other does. There we go. All right, and how many do we get of these? They're 4 of each. Now this looks really cool. I like that building right here in the center of that. That's really cool. And what I like about this is the fact that because it's got such a different pattern on it, you know that when you're making your pieces, especially if you're going to be making earrings, I mean, you could make, you know, a small dish or something like that, which is something else that's been rolling through my head. But your pieces are all going to be different, which I think is really cool. And we all know that Natalie likes things different. Yeah, I really like that. That's really pretty. It lends itself to a lot. And then there's this one. Again, for some people, these may be, yeah, that's great. Glad Natalie likes them. Not my style, not my cup of tea, which is fair. As Tim Holtz says, you do you. I mean, that's what the world's all about. So there's this. I think this would be really cool too. Because there's, you know, opportunity to have different design throughout your pieces. This one, let me go that way. So this one isn't as clear. I'm not sure how it looks to you, but it's not as clear as the other one. So I would almost, and I'm not sure how it would work, is to try and stamp something on top of these, but I would do that after they were baked on the piece or had, you know, been properly adhered to it, but you'd have to use white or something like that just so it would stand out more. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, okay. And then we have this one. I do want to see if I can't play with these in more ways than what we have here. I even thought about putting these on nails. So I have nail foils when I do my nails, But I had almost wondered how and or could I do something on my acrylic nails to incorporate these when I'm doing them. So again, I love to think outside the box and come up with different ideas. And yeah, like that's the whole thing, is how many different ways can we use something to make it more unique. I also got these stencils. I want to, before I, attempt to use these, find out exactly what I should be using to put through them. Whether people are just using regular acrylic paint, whether paste wouldn't really work. And I think I've tried paste on some other stuff and it doesn't quite work that well. I think you have to have something that's fairly fluid. These got crinkled in the package. But we have, so I'll put them down so you can see the different designs on them. So we've got flowers down there and a bit of a, I don't know what to call that. Here, let me just bring them up to you. Okay, we've got that. I believe there's 6 in here. I'm going to have to flatten these out. Probably just water would do that. All right. Okay. So I will be going to YouTube, as I usually do, to find out what I can put through these, because I don't want to ruin them by, really putting something through them that shouldn't. And then that one's hard to see. I don't know if that's easier or not. All right, so I have those. So this is a solid acrylic roller. And what I thought was interesting with this, that's got plastic wrapper on it too. I have to get rid of that. Anyway, what I thought was interesting was these pieces. These are meant to help with the height or the depth of your clay. And depending on how, it's, again, I'm going to have to look this up because this looks a little odd. But I guess maybe what you would do, again, look at me because I'm drawing at straws here just because. So it's supposed to help with how thick your clay is supposed to be. So I almost think that the clay would go in between here, and then these would be on either side of the clay. So if we were doing, if this were a clay, these pieces would keep this up just so you have it a certain thickness. I believe that's what the point of these rollers are. They're just plastic. Boy, this one's going to be fun. Getting these black ones on. Oh, look at me go. That'll be fun. But anyways, I wanted a solid roller. That's why I bought this. And I may or may not use those. I don't know. And then it's got a plastic coating on it, which I'm going to take off. Because I'm thinking that doesn't need to be on there. If I could get this going. Okay, I'll take that off later. Anyway, so that's those. Then I have this small little pattern roller. I do have one that I got at Michael's. So this is one I picked up at Michael's for I don't know how much. It's a Craft Smart. See, I buy these things. I bought that one a while ago. I had other visions of how I would use it. This one, okay, I don't know how well you are going to see the design in that. It's pretty intricate, but it looked really cool, the piece they had done, just because of all the different shapes that are in here. And again, this would make for really cool earrings because they would be so different. I have this. These are cutters. I thought I got one that was straight. I don't have a straight edge one, and that's what I was hoping. I thought they said there was a straight edge one. So for cutting, so you can get different shapes. I don't know how well you can see. Yeah, you can see it better that way. I don't know. I had hoped to have one so that you can scrape underneath. Yeah, I don't have the one that I need to have. Guess I'm going to have to go to Michael's. But yeah, I was sure there was a straight edged one in this, because I've seen people who, they take it and they sort of bend it and then they go under. Now these aren't going to work, but they go underneath the clay to lift it up or to cut pieces off. But this appears to just be for making a design in it, which, okay, fair enough. I seriously thought that, but I guess not, so I'll have to get one of those. It's back in there. So I'm going to have to figure out using these. Leave that like that because I think I'm going to bend that one. And then last, what I have are more cutters, because these are a little more interesting than just the other ones that are plain. And it's going to be interesting for me to decide whether or not, which is the easier to work with, these metal ones or the plastic. Like, I like the plastic ones because you can get a design in them. All right, so we have this. I'll just put them like this so you can see them, and I'll get my hands out of the way. That one's broken, but maybe it'll still work. It's just on the inside, they're not attached, but maybe that's part of the program as well. I don't know, but there we go. So I'll have to see how that works out, doing the different shapes. Are they 2 of each? Maybe there's 2 of each. Oh, there are 2. Well, isn't that fun? Again, I question, are there? No. Those, are they not? No, they're not all the same either. I thought they were. Ah, they're all different. Yeah, they are all different. Okay, never mind. They looked, I guess because of the shape, they look the same, but they're not. So again, which will be easier to cut through the clay, these metal ones or these plastic ones? And I'm curious too about things sticking. So I have some cornstarch off to the side, if you're wondering what's in that yellow box. One of the other YouTube channels I've watched in the past, they had actually put some of that cornstarch in the mold so that when you took the clay out, because it was, you know, an air dry, so you'd want it to sit out, they put that in so it wouldn't stick. And I don't know if there's certain clays that will stick or won't stick. Again, we're going to have to play with that because I don't know for sure. Oh, that's to hold it, to hang it from. Never mind. I mean, it should be so simple, right? But it confuses me every time I see those. All right. So we have these. And again, when we make these, we can turn them on into like an earring, a pendant. We can add UV resin to them. We could put a stencil over top of them, you know, after they're all said and done. I think it'd be easier to do it before you cut them out. But having said that, you know, maybe not. So we have these. So this could be, you know, something like that. We could do like these two together. You could do them separately. You could just do the small ones. you know, I keep getting so amazed by what's out there, what you can do. Highly recommend watching other YouTube channels just to see what can be done. I think it's nice to have other videos you can watch that give you tips and tricks. For me, it is anyway. And this is going to drive me nuts. I'm sorry. I have to get this back out. I just do it like that. All right. The things that annoy me. Anyway, those are, yeah. This is the stuff I got from Play With. I'm actually probably more excited about these pink ones than I am about the white ones. I wanted to get them all because I wanted to see about the design that you could put into the earrings and how they would look and play with. Okay, so putting all this aside now. I'm not going to try and put that back in there. Okay, what else have I got? I got a few more things to show you. I think I'm only going to do, because I've showed you so much in this and I don't want this video to be silly long, I'm going to show you how to use those tattoo pieces. And then in the next video, we will actually get into, you know, playing with the clay and making some stuff. Okay, I have some modeling clay that I bought at the dollar store. Paid $2 for it. I've had this for a little while. I had some other ideas for it besides, I wasn't, I think at the point when I bought this, really thinking about making earrings and whatnot and getting into the clay world as much as it seems I'm going to. But I got this at Dollarama. Yeah, just look at the price tag, Natalie. It says, oh, you can't, right there, $2. I got this from Michael's, Fimo. A lot of people seem to be using Fimo. There's another one, I think that starts with a C, but I don't know the name of it. It says it's similar to China clay, which means nothing to me. It's air drying, which is something I wanted. If you're going to get air dry, pay attention to your packaging to make sure it actually says air drying. A lot of them actually are oven baked. I was specifically looking for air dry clay. I also picked this up at Michael's. This is Craft Smart. This again is an air dry modeling clay. What did I pay for this? I got a discount on this, I think. I can't remember. But anyways, if you go looking for Craft Smart, you know, air dry clay, you'll find it. I liked it because it had a bunch of different colors in it. Again, I have not opened this. Just trying to get into some of this stuff sometimes. It's just, you know what? Let's just rip this open. Here we go. All right. Now, they do recommend that when you open up these packages, that you put them into a resealable bag just to keep the moisture in. I mean, this seems, yeah, it still has some moisture to it. You have to play with the clay too to, what's the term they use for that? Condition it. So you have to condition your clay. I don't know for how long and whatnot, but they talk about that, and also putting it in sealable bags so that it keeps, I mean, this stuff is really moist. So again, haven't played with it. Looking forward to trying this out and seeing how it is. I know the Craft Smart isn't top of the line, and that's totally cool for me. I'd rather pay for it, play, figure things out, and then go to the more expensive stuff if I decide to do that. I like the colors too. It was a nice package. Again, it wasn't, what, maybe $17 Canadian? And for those of you in the States, obviously it'll be less expensive for you based on your dollar versus my dollar. We'll put that back over here for right now. All right, now, I also went out and bought, for very inexpensive, which was really cool. A lot of people are working on these coated tiles, probably for the, okay. I'm going to say for the ease of getting the clay off of it and for the ease of cleaning it. I also bought these two small ones for my oven. People were like, I wondered what was going into the oven. I don't know if people are using silicone at all to put like a oven baked silicone that can go in it, but people were using these and just sliding these into their ovens and cooking on these. So I thought, well, what the heck? I paid under $2 for the 3 pieces at Home Depot. Just trying to remember where I got stuff so you can go looking. I wasn't 100% sure if I could get them single like this, but they do sell them as individual pieces, so you should be able to find those. The last thing I have to show you, and again, we'll do this simple little thing, but I also bought this. Got this at Michael's. I got a discount on this. This was $40. I got 30% off. And it has 9 settings on it. I have not taken it out of the box yet. 9 thickness settings for you to, do your clay on. It, for me, would probably be an easier way of making sure my clay is the right thickness. Again, being new to this, I didn't mind paying what I did for this in order to get the thickness where I want it to be. So I will play with this and then bring this into a video at some point for you to see. It's 3 pieces, so let's just take this out of here now. Looks pretty straightforward. And I was on Amazon looking at some different, I want to say it's Montmark that had it, and it was basically the exact same version. So I thought, okay, you know, one company's making these and slapping on different, like Craftsman and Montmark or whatever, what have you, onto these. So I always find that fascinating. Now, the nice thing about this, whether or not it would be needed, is it has a clamp so you can put it on a table. Where are my scissors? Let's just do this the easy way. It's not very heavy. It's not a lot of weight to that. What does the box say? Does it say how heavy this is? And then we'll sort of go and look at, I don't know that it does. No, I don't think it does have a weight on there. All right. Okay, so it has a clamp for your desk or wherever you want to put it. I seriously don't have room in this room for this. So I would very carefully do it. If what I might have to do is put it through in another room or use my desk over here at the side and then carefully, and I do mean carefully, get I was going to say the pasta back over here so I could cut it out. All right, so what do we got here? I'm guessing this just clicks in here at the side. Let's do this so you can see it. So there. Not looking at directions. Why would I? All right. And then, yeah, everything is in the way. So then we just roll it. And this would come back out pretty easily. All right. I got an itchy finger. And then on the bar where we can do our different settings. So let's just see which. Can we turn that? Being able to turn that would be helpful, right? Oh, all right. So what you have to do with this, again, not reading directions, but so it doesn't move unexpectedly on you. You pull it out and then you move it to the next spot. So there's a little hook that this goes into so that you don't accidentally change size. So let's just do this like this. That's on 8. No, maybe that's it. Okay, there's 9. And there's what the opening looks like for 9. So a fairly thick piece. So again, I'm going to have to play. The other thing I'm going to do is, this feels kind of greasy, is I'm going to at least wipe down the outside of this because that greasiness will drive me nuts. Okay, let's go back to the box for a second. And I would like to think that you may not necessarily have to put that on a table and clamp it down. I think it just depends on how rough you're going to be. So it is 9 thickness settings for greater flexibility, works with oven baked clay, soft metal sheets, and other soft materials. Now, that got me really curious about the oven bake part of that, because I don't know if it will work with my air dry. I think I'm going to try. Like when it says other soft materials, that says to me that it might work with air dry. So I'm going to be very careful putting the air dry clay through this. And I think what I'm going to have to do is, you know, take just little pieces and see if I can roll them through. I thought I would try it anyway. And then if I have to just use the bake polymer clay, fair enough. It's got a 5.5 inch wide opening. Again, it says use with oven baked clay to soften or knead colors together and create flat sheets. Roll polymer clay with any textured surface to add designs. So I'm not sure if that, and again, if someone's watching this that actually has worked with this, are there textured surfaces that you can roll through with your clay, like you would place it on the clay and then roll it through? I'm not following that bouncing ball at all. Roll soft metal sheets in between a thin rubber mat and any flexible textured surface to transfer design. So again, I may have to see exactly what that means and watch some videos. And then what do we got on the back? Okay, so it says setting 9 is the widest setting on the machine and 1 is the narrowest. Always start with the widest setting, then progressively work down to the narrowest. To change the setting, pull out the numbered knob and turn to the desired number. So we did that. Initial cleaning prior to using the machine for the first time. Run some disposable wipes through the rollers repeatedly to remove any residue from manufacturing. Using your machine, polymer clay. The clay pasta machine will create flat sheets of polymer clay in 9 different thickness settings. It can also be used to help knead 2 or more colors together. Before pressing clay through the rollers, flatten it between your hands or cut into pieces so they are slightly thicker than the opening between rollers. Do not force excessively thick, stiff pieces of clay through the machine, as this may cause damage to the gears. Avoid turning the handle backwards while rolling the clay, as this causes buildup of clay behind the rollers. And then it talks about the cleaning process. So we will have to see that together. Well, I'm probably going to get ahead of that first, but I will definitely show you that at some point so that you can see it. All right, we're going to do a quick piece and then I'm going to end this video and then I'll get organized to do something for my next video that incorporates actually, rolling out some of this clay and seeing what we can do with it. I need something for that. And then I'm going to have to make sure when I put these away that, I put them where I'm going to be able to find them again, right? All right, so let's do this. And I'll use the piece I've already taken out. So again, this has a film on it, just so you're aware. I have some water, just some plain water here. I have this, I'm pretty sure this is a makeup sponge I bought at the dollar store. We have one of my ceramic pieces. I've sanded this down. It's one I made, how long ago? It would have been from some extra that I had left over. What I want to do is I am going to I'm going to use my pencil, which is here. And then I'm just going to go around this. And outline it. Yep. I got closer on that side. So because of the way I was doing this, I got closer on one side and then the other. Which again, I mean, yeah. I should probably make it a little bit bigger. Or what I could do if I wanted to, again, having to work with one of my, whatchamacallits, nail files. I wonder if maybe that would be a better plan. Just so you can see what I'm talking about with it going over the sides. And if you were going to be putting something around the sides of this, then it wouldn't matter. Or if you were going, again, I'd still nail file it down though. If you were going to just be, putting a color on this, but you'd want the color the same all the way around. And I don't know if it would, how it would work if you had some of that. So yeah, I'm not sure. Let's just do this way. So I can show you about the sides. Let's get a little closer. I don't want to... I can't draw a straight line. See what I mean? I can't. I'll try and cut a straight line, but I can't draw a straight line. It's funny, when I was doing the rows out in the garden, I think I got them fairly straight, which really impressed me. But lines, yeah, I need a ruler. And even then, I can't get them straight all the time. I'm sure I'm not the only one out there. I'd like to think I'm not the only one out there in the world who can't draw a straight line. All right, so there's our pattern. And it's kind of funny. I guess I care about the pattern, but at the same time I don't. And I didn't have enough room up here to cut that out anyway. Or I guess if you wanted to, you could try and, again, these are really sticky. You could do it like a half and a half. But this stuff is really sticky. All right, so there we are. So do your best not to stick your fingers on this at all. I've been finding that there's sometimes I'm actually, I hate the way this stuff sticks, that it's really easy to, here we go. I'm going to wipe my hands on my pants to get my fingers dry. This is really sticky, and I have found that it's really easy if you dry it up to lift the design off of your piece. Is that different on clay? Couldn't tell you. Again, because I haven't tried it on there yet. So be really, really careful with handling of this. Okay. Now we're going to do our bestest, and this should work easier because we are... Okay, so all I'm going to do is just press it down. And it's so funny, I'm right to the top on that. And then they talk about, and this is where we're going to use a roller. What did I do with my roller? Okay. What I've been doing as well with these pieces is I've been rolling them on, just so I know they're stuck down on it really well. And not just in one direction. I've been flipping it around because my pieces are fairly small. So every point, as it were, gets this down on it. And I like the size of this roller. This other one is kind of small. It doesn't have the weight behind it. All right. And this one's easier because I have more room for my hands. This one's a little more challenging. I was using one of my dotting tools actually to to do this. All right. I don't know whether you have to do that or not. I just feel it's a thing I want to do. Now, doing that isn't probably helpful because I know I'm going to get this around the edges. Now, what we could do is, now that it's on there, is just cut some of that off, so that we're dealing with less potentially getting along the sides. If you wanted to save these small little pieces, you could for something else. I'm not sure what you would use them on, and I'm not going to worry about that because it's just going to stick to me. Now, I think what I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to leave sort of one of these corners so I can pull this off. The idea is to slide it. Again, just like a tattoo. Let's leave that side. All right. And then if this sort of sticks around, it's, you know, I can show you what I mean. So just going to add water to my sponge. And no, I don't do a lot of it. And then, yeah, you just wet it down. Now, again, I don't know if it is, you know, how much of a difference there is between doing it on the ceramic resin and just doing it on like wet clay or damp clay. And I'm trying to remember if they say to leave this you know, just a couple of minutes so that it, like a tattoo, it has time for the water to help disengage it from the paper. And we can cover these up with resin once, you know, if that's something we want to do, which I would to protect. I mean, these are dry. These are fully dry now. I like the idea of putting a resin over top of it, though, even though it's got a bit of it's got a sort of a satiny shine to it. But just to protect it. I mean, this was the first one I did, and I damaged it a little bit, but okay, see if this will slide. Yeah, there it goes. Okay, now I want to show you. Can you see? I don't know how well, hopefully, because I don't really want to pick it up, but can you see how it's shrinking down here? Okay, so it shrinks, and then that's what I don't want to do. Because of that, it's folding itself back up on top of itself. This stuff is sticky. All right. So it's folding itself back up over top, which I don't like. And it's getting stuck to my fingers. Give me a second while I might have to get my, here. Stuck to my finger. How uncool is that? Wear off in time, eh? So it's doing, like this one did at the top here, this is doing the same. And do not, like I say, do not touch that. And I don't know if I can, without like doing damage, which I don't want to do. I don't know why it recedes. See, I'm pushing it in on the sides. Okay, so Natalie, stop. It's sticky. It's sticky, sticky, sticky. And I kind of want to get this. Yeah. All right. So what we're going to do is let's let that sit and just sort of dry up a bit. And I think what I might do is I have my heat gun over here. So I'm going to quickly put that on. I'll just leave it there. I apologize for the noise. And I'm going to let this warm up a little bit. So all I've been doing with this is going over top of it to help dry it. And I think, and this is just my personal opinion, that to adhere it to the ceramic resin more. And I keep it moving around because I think if I don't, I could damage it somehow. All right. So we're just going to let that sit for a moment. And one, because this gets hot, just to let you know. If you've used a heat gun, you'll know that that gets rather warm. So we'll let that sit for a moment. Throw these other small little pieces out. See, I know I had with my tattoos, and someone had pointed out in one of my videos, because I was lifting up my paper from the tattoo versus sliding it, and they said to slide it because then it would, sit down better. I've warmed up my mat here, so hopefully that'll settle back down. I have a silicone mat over here at the side that I use normally when I'm using my heat gun. I put it on the silicone mat, not this. This isn't, it's silicone, but it's not the same as what I have over here at the side. So it's kind of heated this up as well. That's why I'm pressing my hands down on top of this to hold it back into shape. I know Michael's has these on sale if you can get them. They were what, $30 originally, and they're a lot less now. I think the last one I bought for $10. All right, I think we're okay. Still warm? Yeah, there's still a little bit of heat, right? Sort of like a clay that keeps the heat in. So that's what it looks like. Again, we've got it sort of, it drew itself back in, and I'll have to play. I don't know how to avoid that. And you'll notice, okay, some along the edge here. And that's why I sanded it off when I did the other piece. And I'm going to let this sit. I don't know if I want to do that right now. I have a very heavy-duty nail file here. I don't have my less heavy-duty. But again, yeah, see, you got to be really careful that you let this stuff set up. Again, is it better to put it on clay and bake it on versus doing what I'm doing here? So that's something I'm going to have to experiment with. So yeah, again, I was just using and this may not be the best one to use, because this is harsh. Yeah, so it's coming off. I'm trying to be gentle with this. Because I've tried scraping it off and I didn't really have a lot of luck doing that. Sanding seems to be the better option. Right. Okay, the other thing you'll notice too is you can see the hole. Oh, I don't know if you can. So right up here at the top, and I recommend using something to break that hole. There, so we have it through. So yeah, you want to be really careful when you're handling this. Like I can push that back down where I pushed it up on the sides. Now, is it going to stay or no? Or maybe I can't. Maybe it's just an optical illusion on my part. But yeah, be very careful working with this. And maybe that's why it's really probably more meant so Oh my gosh, meant more for a baked polymer clay than not. I'll have to try it though. But that's what it looks like. And as I say, I would cover it with resin. And I would probably put something around the sides of that. Whether it be the necklace chain I have, whether it's just with a marker. I've wondered about putting some washi tape around the sides of pieces like this. And if you use washi tape, you're going to want to put a two-sided tape on it first, because I find washi tape doesn't stick well. That's just been my experience. So that's how we do that, or what I've been doing anyway. So I'm going to end this video here because I feel like I've been talking for an awfully long time and we really haven't done, but we got to do something. And I will get myself organized for the next video to let's play with the clays. Let's see what we can do from using one of these tools and doing stuff on these. I'm going to look at Michael's and see about getting one of those scrapers that goes underneath the clay so that I can actually lift them up. As I say, I really thought the one I bought off of Temu had the straight edge for that, but apparently it does not, which is fair and fine. I think that's it. I don't think there's anything else I want to tell you right now. We can maybe see about using the pasta machine for rolling out our clay, see how that goes. I will find out some information on these silk. What do I have to do with these? What can we do with these? So this may be more than, a 2. This could be a 3-parter. Who knows? I just thought it would be fun. It would be something a little different. Give you some new ideas on things you may work with or may not. Totally up to you, obviously. But I hope you've enjoyed this. Again, if you have experience working with clay, I would love if you would put some comments below. Any tips, any tricks you've had, anyone you've watched that you think would be good for me to go and pay attention to get some ideas from. I think that would be awesome. We will work on using some of these molds with cornstarch, without cornstarch, and see what happens. How, if we have to, if we can get away with not doing it. And we're gonna play in a few of these videos. I will still be doing my resin videos. I'll still do my ceramic resin videos. That won't change. I thought I'd throw something new and interesting in the mix because I want to learn about it. Anyway, have a great day. Again, to those subscribers of mine who are out west of Ontario, stay safe. And I'm really hoping you guys get some rain soon and these fires, because again, I feel for you. I feel for the animals, and I just want everybody and everything to be safe. Have a great day. Be creative. Take care, and bye for now.